Our topic for today is managing documents with metadata. And first of all, I would like to thank you for attending this session today. Our goal is to show you how shifting from a folder-based structure to a metadata approach to manage your BIM documentation can make your process more efficient, error-proof, and easier. I'm Gabriela Rocha. I am part of our customer success team. I am an architect myself, and I have also worked as a BIM manager in the construction industry. So, well, believe me when I say that I know how it is to be in your shoes when it comes to BIM processes and challenges. And I truly believe that the content of today's session can change the perspective on information management and clarify how a metadata mindset can make this process much simpler and more accurate. And today, my colleague Hayes is joining us from the background. Hayes is also part of our customer success team, and he can answer any questions you may have during the session in our chat. And also by the end of the presentation, we'll have a few minutes to answer some questions live, and Hayes will help me with that. Okay. Well, when it comes to managing your documents, it is not only about BIM, but it's about the full construction lifecycle and the related documentation, from requirements, technical details coming from suppliers, legal documents, mandates, protocols, to the BIM models themselves, and the technical 2D drawings created from them. And then the documents from the construction site and operation, and so on. And of course, that managing it all, making sure that the documents are available to the correct people at the right timing is a big challenge. And having a tool that helps us to make this easier is essential. With so many different stakeholders involved across disciplines and project phases, organizing document accesses and responsibilities becomes even more complex. That's why having the flexibility to structure your environment based simply in project level, or maybe deciding to deep dive in specific setups, more advanced setups in phase level can make a real difference in maintaining the clarity and control in your projects. So what we often see when it comes to structuring all the documents is this very traditional folder structure approach. Maybe this will sound very familiar to you. Your project kicks off and you have the first documentation coming in. Even before the formal kickoff, you already had several documents at hand as geotechnical surveys, legal documentation, protocols, and so on. So you set up a folder structure, nice and clean. You might start with something like project phases, contracts, surveys, input data. All seems organized, but then the project progresses. The team uploads agreements and the contracts, the surveyors place their topography scans, the architects start placing their design files under the correct phase within their named architectural folder, and everything is where it should be. But then reality hits. The amount and variety of documents start to make the folder structure more and more complex. And in many cases, someone has to upload a document like a report that is referenced in a contract, and then you get the question, where should I place it? Is it under surveys or within input data? Or maybe under contract, since it is a deliverable from a contract, you just pick one. Well, you know where to find it afterwards. But then the same happened for other documents, a structural design drawing that's also relevant for the contractor to plan the execution. Where should I place it? Design or execution, or maybe both? Well, then it starts to get complicated and worst of all, inconsistent. Stakeholders look for documents in the system, they think it should be in a different place, they don't find it, and then you get questions. So not that much time after, that structure that felt nice and clean is now complex and full of duplicates, conflicting logic, and files placed somewhere that made sense at that time. And managing it starts to be a real struggle, and the risk of having outdated documents as well. especially when duplicated documents are placed. Well, the problem isn't lacking documents or information. It is just that your structure cannot keep up with your project. And that's exactly where metadata changes everything. This approach, the metadata approach to manage your documents, is really aligned with a BIM approach, as BIM elements have properties and we filter and consume our models based in their properties. This is the same for documents. Metadata can be seen as the properties of our documents, and we filter them accordingly to our needs. So instead of locking a document into one place, metadata allows you to describe it from multiple perspectives. If we would want to find that first geotechnical report, well, it's labeled survey and input data. I know the project phase is concept and the status is final. And I know that my document type is documentation. No duplicates, no folder searching. You just filter it by the criteria that you need. And just like that, it is not you finding the document, but BIMcollab Twin makes the document find you. So I want to show you how it works in practice and how you can do it in BIMcollab. So I'm just gonna switch to our BIMcollab environment, and I'm gonna close my camera for a while so we can see the full screen. The document management section can be accessed right from your BIMcollab space through the Documents tab. And here you can store all your documents of wherever format extension, and you can place it to the project level or to a specific phase level. The stakeholders will only be able to see the documents that are available for their type of permissions. So in my project here, I have a variety of documents from project meeting minutes, calculations, contracts, surveys, to the technical drawings and models. So let's say that I need to access all the technical drawings from architecture. Well, I'll simply ask Twin to search all documents with these properties. So my document type is drawing and my discipline is architecture, and voila, here are all my documents from the architecture that are drawings. Well, maybe I need something else. I need my BIM protocol. Once again, Twin can search it for me, as it is this powerful searching engine that scans through my documents data, metadata or properties, and also it considers all the user permissions on top of that. So my BIM protocol, it's a documentation, which it is an input data, and it's, yeah, I don't know the discipline, but doesn't matter. I can just put it that way with the data that I know, and here it is. The BIM protocol is one of the documents that meet the criteria that I have filtered by in the system. But you can be thinking that it can be annoying having to apply a filter every time you want to look for a document, especially when you access regularly the same kind of documents. Well, for that purpose, you can set up your own saved filters. So we have saved filters that can be personal and available to you only, or if you have the admin rights, it can be shared and available to everyone in your space. So you can see those saved filters as a sort of smart folder, where as soon as a new document is uploaded with its metadata, Twin automatically retrieves it to the right folder, and it can then be part of one or multiple folders depending on the filtering criteria that you have set up. So for example, my structural models, they are part of all my structural engineering documents. So they are here, part of all my structural engineering, together with the structural drawings and yeah, all other documents, calculations, and so on. But if I want to look for my structural model in my models, like overall, they are also part of my, let's call it, smart folder models, as together with all the models from the other disciplines, they are also present in here. So we can say that the smart folders, they don't simply store files, they react to your metadata, and that's the power here. And with this setup, even if by some reason your project structure has to be changed or reorganized, you don't have the risk of breaking links and disrupting workflows, as you don't need to rename or move any folders. If necessary, every user can always reorganize their saved filters to best fit their needs. And then the right documents will be shown accordingly to the new setup. But how does Twin know what are the document properties? Well, that's information that needs to be input when you first upload your files to the system. So we have our standard metadata, but it is nice to know that if this is not enough for your inputs, you can also have your own custom properties, and even you can input the filling options that you want to make available for your stakeholders. So you can create extra fields, extra properties, or extra metadata. We can call it whatever we prefer. And once the information is first linked to those documents, then it's not necessary to upload it afterwards when you are in uploading a new version of your file. The only new information that you need to input then is the specific version information, like version number, description, and date, for example. I know that this can sound like a lot of work, but I can assure you that it will save you much more time in the future. And other than that, to make this process easier, we have designed a template upload list where you can directly fill in all the documents necessary data and upload it together with your file or batch of files. And then Twin can recognize the data and refer to each file and automatically fill in the data inputs for you. So the metadata approach by itself, it's already quite handy and can make your document management process easier and smarter, but there is one extra thing that I would like to show you. Since every document has data linked to it, we can benefit from it on a next level. We can use the document properties to automatically generate an ISO 19650 compliant document naming convention for you. You can then yourself create it by simply dragging and drop the information that you want to use as your naming convention. And you select the naming parameters that you would like to use. And once it is created, you don't have to worry about checking if your convention is compliant, because just by filling in the correct data, the naming is automatically created in accordance with your own customized standard convention. So let me show you one example. Let's say that I want to upload several different files to this specific project phase. So I can select all my different files, and together with them, I have in this case already an upload list where I have inputted all the metadata that I want to be linked to these documents. And once I upload it, Twin already recognize all the information and fill it in for me in advance. So here's just like a checking process to see if everything's okay and if I want to add something extra, but everything is already filled in. All I have to do is confirm. And also for that specific project, I have a document naming convention in place. And as you can see, my document number or the document naming within our system, it's already generated through the metadata that it has. So for example, if you look at this A in my document naming convention, this is the code for my discipline. So if I change my discipline from architecture to building survey, it changes to B, or if I change it to civil engineering, it changes to C. So you are sure that the naming is reflecting the properties of your document, and you can really rely on it. So yeah, a lot of documents, everything's already filled in. And this way, every company can name their files based on their own conventions and criteria. And once it is updated or uploaded to BIMcollab Twin, it automatically follows your naming convention. And it is the name that stays with the document from there onwards, even when downloading it from our system. So it is less bureaucracy and error-free. Well, I'm just gonna go back to our presentation. Let me turn my camera on once again. Yes. Well, so this is the content that we have prepared for today. The idea of these sessions is to make it short and sweet and give you insights on simple tips and tricks to improve your BIM workflows even further. So the metadata approach to manage your documents can be a game changer on your document management processes and simplifies how you and your team access, manage, and consume your project's documents. But before we move to the question round, I have a sneak peek for you. I'm particularly very happy about this one. You'll see it live very soon in your own space, as it is available to everyone with access to the Documents tab. So maybe you already noticed in my own space that I have the new ISO 19650 compliant workflow in place. So now our documents have their state clearly accessible through the shared, published, and archived buttons, where I can clearly see which document versions are only available for users with access to the shared versions, and which ones are available for users that have their access restricted to published documents only, like the site contractors, for example. And the same goes for the archived documents as well, of course. And we also have some icons to make it even more clear. So if you are one of the team members with access to the shared documents versions, you can see if your documents have already a published version, and if they have, if it is the same of your current version or it is an older one. Well, I hope it was an insightful session to you all, and I would like to use the few minutes that we have left to answer to any questions that you may have. And to do so, yeah, I'll ask Hayes to assist me and share the questions that we have received. Do you have any questions, Hayes?
Oh yes, and I'm still typing. So we have a lot of questions. Maybe one is interesting. One question is it possible to use the documents in relation to our Nexus environment?
Yeah, if I understand the question correctly, yes, we have now a single platform. So it's BIMcollab. It is not really Nexus separated from Twin. It is everything is accessible from one single place. So in the same project, I can go to my issues and I have access to my issues. I can access them normally as you would do in Nexus only. But at the same time, if I need to access my documentation, it's just as easy as clicking in the documents. Same for the model viewer. We have it available with the with the documents that actually are coming from our documents itself. When the document is a model, we can share it to the model viewer, and they will be available right away also to interact with our issues, as you are already used to. Yeah.
Maybe from my end, one remark in that regard: we are currently rolling out this full integration.
So that's important
this,
to mention.
yeah, this is done in batches. So we already have several clients working with this fully integrated solution. So yeah, just wait and see, and it will become available in the background to all our existing customers.
Yeah, a bit of patience, but it's coming. It will be live soon.
Yeah. I have a nice one regarding the metadata and the naming convention. The question: does it also work the other way around? When a document complies with the naming convention, will Twin recognize the parts of the file name and automatically fill in the metadata accordingly?
Yes, it also works the other way around. So if you have a document naming convention in place, and your file name already meets the criteria in your document naming convention, Twin recognizes it, and then it fill in the metadata accordingly, automatically for you when that's the case. So yes, it also works in the other way around.
Okay. Are the documents, is there also an approval system for documents in place?
Yes, documents can be approved in two different ways. They can be manually approved. So as I showed you some of my documentation, some of them are published, means they are already approved. It could be done as simple as approving it from here directly. But also we have a more advanced system called workflows, where we can really have triggers that will have upcoming actions in a workflow, and one of them is to approve. So we can have a document after certain triggers automatically be put to be approved, and then being approved and going to published. Is it clear, Gijs?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe one question that is also related, more or less related to this. And what about notifications? Is that also available in relation to these tasks or workflows?
Yeah, within the workflows, we create the notifications in a custom way. So we decide who will receive a notification, what will be the subject, and what is the message within the notification. And then every time a new document is uploaded, the right people will receive the notification when a workflow is started. Otherwise, every time we upload a new document in the system, there is a notification field that we can also fill in and make the right people receive it right away.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, can you also structure and set what documents should be delivered to the project? Maybe pre-fill some data, some metadata.
Yeah, that's also possible, and that's quite handy. We call it placeholders. So placeholders are like you would upload all the metadata that you need, or all the files that you need without the file itself. So it's there as holding the seat for that document that still needs to be delivered. So it can be very handy. I think I have some examples in here. So for example, in the architecture, you see I have some IFC files. I have some PDFs, but I also have some documents with this icon. These are placeholders. So I already have pre-filled metadata as the discipline, the description, the document type, and only like the missing very specific document related, like the version date and so on, have to be filled in afterwards once the document is delivered. So it's really nice to have sort of control. We can also filter them by only the documents that do not have a version or that are placeholders. And then we have a nice list of deliverables that can be that makes things very clear from both sides, sorry. And then like in this case, the architect knows which documents are still missing and he needs to deliver. And also the one controlling the documents knows what to expect and what is not still delivered.
Okay, thank you. I already get some nice responses regarding that feature, so it sounds very nice, is the reply. Yeah, I have quite a few questions. I think too much to address during this presentation. So to give them like a proper response, maybe it's good to reply to them by email. So do you maybe want another one or?
Well, we can make one extra. Let's go for one extra and then we wrap up.
Okay. Let me. So one of the other questions is it also possible to view the models and use the models in Nexus, so related to issue management, if you don't have access to Twin.
Oh yeah, that's if the model is coming from Twin, you mean? Yeah, well, maybe there's two different answers or two parts to answer that question. So if you upload your models in your document tabs and you make them available to the web viewer, that's possible. And if you are able to see it or not in the model viewer itself also depends on your permissions. So if you have permissions, for example, to see only published documents and your model is not still published, you won't see it. Or in case there are two versions and the first version is published and there's a second one, if you have the rights to see only published documents, you see still only the version 1. If you have access to the shared one, you will be able to also see version 2. But then if you don't have access to Twin, only to Nexus, and the model is coming from Twin, you can still see it if you have the permissions, of course, if they are uploaded in the project level. When we go to the more advanced setup and permission settings and going to phase level, then it has to be the active phase to be shown also in a Nexus, now all the different phases. But maybe it's going too deep in answering that question. I don't know if you have
Okay.
any other remarks, Gijs.
Yeah, maybe one addition. Also with the new release of the new web interface, it becomes possible for people who have access to specific type of documents to only see the web viewer. So it makes it really easy to include maybe a specific member in the team who is not working with the document itself, but and also not reacting to the issues or something like that. But they get like a nice coordinated representation of the whole project in the web viewer without having to have a license for any of the features within the system. So you can invite those people. So that's a new feature, a new addition to the platform we are currently rolling out. So that's maybe also a nice touch there.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, we need to wrap up because of the limited time that we have, but we will answer all the questions that you could that couldn't be answered live by email in the upcoming days. And yeah, if you want to get more information, and maybe it's also nice if you can contact us and maybe you can schedule a conversation. And once again, I want to thank you for attending our knowledge session, and I hope I can see you all in our next one. So wishing you a great week and weekend, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.